Okay, so in the last video, I was saying that it's mandatory for children to participate in education. Ostensibly, it's in the best interest of the child, but I would somewhat beg to differ. That it is actually not that it's not in the best interest of the child, since the child will be forced to participate in the beast of production, the modern rate of consumption. The child will be obliged to exist within those parameters. And even in the rare exceptional case where a parent or a set of parents are savvy enough to protect their child from the school system and some of the oversights and incompetencies of the school system, and homeschool them, they will still be forced to the curriculum that they will administer to their own child will be mandated to be reviewed and receive oversight from the actual school districts that they're trying to evade, in something called like an IEP, independent educational program. And then that might be for people who chose homeschooling, or the behavior of the child, or some of the emotional standpoint as is appreciated in the child would necessitate or suggest that there needs to be an independent educational plan that would not be viable for that child to attain a strong outcome in the general school setting and population of general public of the school, or maybe a private school, would not be viable. It's appreciated either by a parent or by an administrator when someone gets along to having an independent IEP, independent educational program. But still, that individual educational program would still require a degree of oversight and substantiating and viability that would be reviewed, critiqued, and authorized by a person working under the auspices of the interests of the school district. Probably whether private or public, it would still be the school district would have oversight, I would imagine, and then that would fall into the state at that point. So in the state itself is propped up by and implicated in production. So you go for a license or you get pulled over, and they charge you a ticket, but they do need that revenue, because even they are propped up within the society, and they have to participate in the society, because it's a beast that none of us maybe likely have successfully transcended yet. And even were we to transcend it, it wouldn't be viable until other people would transcend it with us, because we're social. So the greatest of achievements and outcomes, even enlightenment itself, may be an actual detriment and a damning if it cannot be shared. Because how horrible would that not be hell, to taste enlightenment and not be able to express it? Would that not be hell right there? Would that not be the most sublime form of punishment? Would be to feel the most sublime ecstasy of love and rapture. And wow, the people who would inspire that feeling in you, and that you would like to project that feeling on and share that feeling with, direct that feeling towards, maybe are still within the dross in the film of the training and the reverberations of state politics, consumption, the ignorance that is a function of consumption and arbitrary paternalism. These people that you're falling in, that you're having love towards, rapturous feeling towards, inclination towards, benign, beneficent inclination towards, to approaching worship and ecstasy. You cannot convey that and express that because of some of the limitation that they're still within. But for what way or not, you cannot share that. That would constitute a form of suffering and torment, hell no less. But so there's no getting away from the oversight of the state. And even if you had someone that was being reared in homeschool or an independent educational venue, it would still be constituted with curriculum that is attendant and has implications of the broader beast of mass consumption and production. So there's no getting away from that from a human being at the current point. But the thing that what I wanted to say is that, so when we do have, so part of nature is that you would have trust in nature, implicit trust for members of your community, not necessarily your biological parents in all iterations of human experience, because I think that your understanding of your nuclear family, even your parents, your parenting, is different under feudalism than other societies. One is because part of the function of the state and the church and feudalism, and the idea of monogamy is part of it, is part of economics and inheritance. Is that if you had an estate, or you had people that lived at your estate, you would want the lines of inheritance of economic advantage and prosperity, that is a nepotism, frankly speaking. But what I think that our society is deeply founded in nepotism, and even racism itself may be more simply nepotism. I think that all brutality, including racism, can amount to, be attended by, and have implications of genocide. But genocide itself can come deeper to nepotism, that is the interest of me and my family over and upon other people. No different than like maybe monarchies in the past, or just any form of arbitrary interest where one person would prevail over a person's interest would prevail over another person's based on a preconceived value would be very brutal. Is entitlement, is privilege and entitlement, brutality par excellence, that can be refined further to simple nepotism. That is, me and my family will do better than you and your family, even as you and your family cease to exist, is nepotism in the deepest essence. But so that would be a tenet of feudalism, which a lot of our present iteration is from feudalism, like feudal Europe, like having like farms and manors and plantations, going like different degrees of sharecropping, that would amount all the way up to slavery, Jim Crow, later then industrialism, capitalism, digitalism even would be feudalism before that. Maybe before feudalism you would have like adventurism, like military adventurism, like Rome, like conquering different lands. But what does Rome do when they settle into a land and they got the warring over? Then the feudalism comes in, because even a war, a general, they still need supply, they still need plants, they still need food for their troops, they still need different implements and contrivances and different things to forge their different exploits upon the equipment. That would take substance, and you would need organized labor. You need to organize labor. So maybe a better way of saying feudalism would be organized labor. That is power, one of your strongest forms of power in human existence, organized labor. But that informs our understanding of a family currently that would be different than how we would exist in nature in a pre-civil society. So your idea of having a mother, a brother, a father, a sister, a cousin, a second cousin twice removed, that is along the lines of inheritance, and it's defined and it's arbitrary. But one person's understanding of what family is not necessarily what my experience of family is not according to another person. So another person can say brother, sister, father, nephew, cousin, auntie. They can say that in a strictly preconceived form that a person can understand before and after, and while a person is being born and living. Before that person, we already had an understanding of what a father and brother was before someone came to being, and then that can go along the lines of inheritance. But then you apply that to another person, and that's not actually what my experience is. You say father, mother, brother, sister, but that's not my experience of those people that you're calling that. Whether or not I have a biological, but also the church, they would want monogamy so that you could confirm inheritance, lineage. According to Rollo Tomasi, one thing that males fixate upon is that were there infidelity, a man would want to know with who, how, what, where, why. It would be very strong on a man's psyche. But what he's ascertaining is the likelihood of the paternity. Are those children really that other guy that you stepped out on with, or is there a chance they could still be mine? That's what's significant about monogamy. But the church in the modern state, they preserve monogamy, even though that might be different than how humans existed before, during, and now. Humans actually don't exist that way. but it's forced upon that way for issues of the state and inheritance, not an organic reality.